Welcome to a Teapot Full of Tales. I'm glad you're here. I'm Miss Alice, and I have a story I'd like to share with you. Today's story is called God Will Provide. Marcus walked briskly up the gangplank onto his cargo ship. He took a deep breath, happy to be going to sea once again. "Claudius," he called out, "how go the preparations?"
"Good, Captain. The fleet is nearly ready to set sail."
"Very good," said Marcus with a curt nod. "Father!" called a sweet voice from down below. Marcus looked over the railing of the ship to see his little daughter, Octavia, black hair blowing in the wind. "I thought you were not leaving until tomorrow."
"Sorry, my pet," said Marcus. "We are due to set sail with the high tide in just a few hours. The Emperor needs his wheat after all."
Tears started to well up in the little girl's hazel eyes that usually sparkled so brightly.
"But I'll be back again in a couple of weeks."
Blowing a final kiss, he set about the final preparations to get the ship underway. Marcus ran a tight ship. His delivery rate was second to none. How else does one become one of the chief sailors in the Emperor's merchant fleet? And the voyage went predictably well for the 5 ships. That is, until they came to Myra, a little city nestled on the edge of a shining bay, hugged by the rolling olive-colored hills. Bishop Nicholas, the spiritual leader of the community, met him at the dock.
"Welcome to our little city,"
beamed the priest.
"I'm afraid we have no food to offer you and your crew. The harvest went very poorly last year, so we have little enough ourselves. But we have good water, so please help yourself."
Marcus looked around in shock. Bishop Nicholas was so cheerful, but he could see that the city was clearly suffering. Lean, sad animals stood in their stalls, and he could even hear some children crying in hunger.
"You certainly do seem to be in quite a bind," said Marcus. "Indeed," said Bishop Nicholas, his face growing serious. "We try to bear our sufferings well, but it is quite a bitter cup to drink. Am I right in thinking those are wheat ships you are commanding? You wouldn't be able to sell us any of your wares, would you? We have gold."
Marcus shook his head. "I'm sorry, Father. This wheat is for the Emperor himself. If even an ounce of wheat is missing, I would be in serious trouble." The bishop looked at him seriously, his sparkling eyes seeming to peer right into his soul. "I can appreciate a man who wants to do his work well, but we could truly use your help. I assure you that you will not get into trouble. In fact, the wheat will be there when you arrive. God will provide." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Father, I have as much faith in God as anyone, but do you expect me to believe that the wheat is just going to appear out of thin air? If that were so, why hasn't he already given you some?" "Maybe God does not give us this wheat only to fill our bellies," the bishop replied. "Perhaps he will provide it through you because you are in need of something too." Marcus wished he had faith like that. Faith that could move mountains, or at least make wheat appear. But he just couldn't. He had to get this wheat to the Emperor. It meant his job. It meant his family. It meant his honor. No, he simply couldn't do it. Just then a little girl came up beside Bishop Nicholas, taking him by the hand. "Father Nicholas," she said sweetly, "is he going to be able to give us some of his wheat?" Her hazel eyes shone brightly, but there was a deep hunger in her voice. "I hope so, Livia," said Bishop Nicholas, "but it is up to him." "I hope so too," said the little girl, her long black hair blowing gently in the wind. Benny cried all night again, he was so hungry. Marcus looked down at the little girl, so much like his own Octavia. She was just a little wisp herself, and her brother, these people needed him. He stared for a long moment as the bishop sent the girl on her way with his blessing. Marcus had heard stories of how the good bishop had snuck those 3 poor girls' gold, how he had driven out demons and healed a withered hand. Always whispers of Nicholas, the Wonderworker. But those were just sailor stories. And yet, here was the man, looking him right in the eye, telling him that the wheat would be there. telling him that God would provide. Marcus swallowed hard. "Okay, Father, you can have some wheat. Take 100 bushels from each ship." Bishop Nicholas broke into a jolly smile. "Oh, God bless you. How much would you like for the wheat?" Marcus held up a hand. "No, Father, I can't take your gold. Just pray extra hard for me that all will be well when we arrive." A few days later, the ship sailed smoothly into the Emperor's port at Nicomedia. Marcus's heart was in his throat as he watched with extra care that everything was weighed out correctly. He tried to have faith, but it was hard as grain after grain of wheat settled on the scale. "Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief," he prayed under his breath. Finally, the chief of the storeroom handed him a receipt for the shipment. "All seems to be in order. Have a good day, Marcus." Marcus took it mutely. He blinked hard. "All the wheat was there?" he asked. The storeroom chief looked confused. "Just like always, something wrong?" he asked, seeing the wonder on Marcus's face. Nothing at all," Marcus whispered. "It's just, God does provide." The following spring, Marcus returned once more to Myra. He gripped the railing nervously as his ships glided into the harbor. Would the town still be in need? But he needn't have worried. Smiling faces and fattened animals greeted him at the dock. Soon Bishop Nicholas hurried to meet him, with Livia in tow. The little girl hugged him tightly and handed him a loaf of bread. "Marcus, my good man, it is wonderful to see you," said the bishop. "As you can see, your gift has done us good. We were even able to plant a good crop for the year from it, and still have some to spare." "But Father, I didn't give you nearly that much," said Marcus in wonder. He couldn't believe that his gift had multiplied like that, and yet here was the town, cared for beyond his wildest imaginings. Bishop Nicholas smiled. "That's true, but as you well know, God provides." I hope you enjoyed God Will Provide, written and produced by Alice Louise Meredith. Don't forget to like and subscribe to get the weekly stories here at A Teapot Full of Tales. Does your child want even more stories like this one? You can get an exclusive story, Snowflake Wishes, a story of the science of snow and the magic of Christmas, by visiting teapotfulloftales.com/snow. It's perfect for cozy read-alouds this Christmas season. As always, we love to hear story ideas from our young fans. If your child has an idea they would like to share, visit teapotfulloftales.com to leave us a message. Thanks for stopping by. Now adventure is calling. Will you answer?